got it. So, Lauryn, thanks again for taking the time to do this. I know you've just been it's wonderful to have you involved with our events, but I know you've been involved in other ways as well. So, Lauryn, if you could just share a little bit first, just gosh, what your involvement and experience has been with with disability ministry, in addition to your professional work.
So I guess the first time that I worked with an individual with a disability was probably when I was in high school. So I helped out with the SMRE program, and there was one girl who went there who, it was the younger ages, and she had Down syndrome. So I just kind of stuck with her a lot during that time, and that kind of is what led me to be like, because I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but I was like, maybe I want to like add on to that and be a special education teacher. So of course went through college for that, and even in college I was involved in some extracurriculars, like with those with disabilities. We had the SCEC, so the Student Council for Exceptional Needs.
Okay.
And with that, we actually were partnered with some adults with disabilities there in Muncie. I don't remember the name of the program, but we would throw like parties and stuff for them. And even through that too, like they partnered with one of the schools there who had autism support group meetings. And so we babysat for those kids, like when their parents were at the meetings and things like that. But probably the best one was this at Ball State. They have a program called the Prism Project.
Prism, like
Prism, like the light. I don't know, light shining through it. And what it is like they have college students and they partner with children with autism or Down syndrome. And so you would have just one kiddo that you partnered with, and you met like on the weekend, and you practice to put on like a musical show with like a little bit of acting and talking in it, but mostly like musical numbers. And so you partnered, and they had kids with varying on the varying ends of the spectrum. So it's pretty cool to see that, just to see like what you could do with all that. Like, I don't know. So that was fun. And then I guess that kind of led me on, obviously, whenever I was a senior, I was student teaching, and I was back at home. And that was right. My mom had started Spread, I think that fall, but then I kind of joined in with her that spring when I was back home. She was like, come to these meetings, because I hadn't really heard about it. And I know my mom kind of got involved with it. And then I'm not quite sure if my mom wasn't the leader then, I don't think, but she was helping that first year. And then Jean was the leader. But my mom was like, come to these meetings. And then eventually, Jean kind of stepped down and my mom took over. And so I just kept going with her. I guess now that was like 8 years ago. So
wow, time flies.
Yeah, so it's been a while. I'm like that, because I was trying to kind of think about that when I was on my way home. I was like, how long has it been? It's been like 8 years. So it's been a while.
I guess, I mean, and you kind of answered this before, but have you noticed any ways that your involvement with these things, both, I mean, I know you said you have professional and ministerial experience, ways that's kind of just impacted you, just how you live your life and maybe how you see people,
right?
Them.
I know it's like whenever I do see somebody, obviously, like before I kind of got all this experience, I feel like I was a pretty positive person. But now I feel like with like being a teacher and with working with these people with special needs, it just kind of like makes you almost have more patience too, in a way, because you see them and like all like what they're struggling with, and they have to put up with so much every day. Even the kiddos in the classroom who are like learning how to read, I see them struggling, but the fact that they like keep working at it every day is, obviously something that's beneficial for them, and it makes me kind of be like, oh, this is why I'm helping them.
Yeah, kind of helps you get through the hard days, right? I know it's one of the things that I know that I've noticed myself doing more, just being involved with things. My sister has multiple disabilities. She got sick when she was really young, and so it's just between her and you know, I have nephews who have ADHD and autism. Like it's just been a part of my life. But being with a group in a community like this has really it's really opened me up to just kind of like just vulnerability is okay. It's like it's okay. Like you don't always have to
right. Especially seeing them all come together and like help each other out is what's kind of cool too, you know.
Yeah.
Like even at the retreats, or you know, like if one of them's struggling, then somebody else will kind of come around and help them out.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that. Even in our small group too, I've seen that many times.
They look out for each other. So it's amazing how just to see it happen. You're so right.
Yeah.
Were there any special memories that you'd be willing to share just from your time in parish or with the events or and
right. Of course I love like my group, my staff deanery spread group, but I think whenever we see all of them come together is really special too. Like obviously the summer retreat is something special, you know, getting to kind of joke around with all of them and, you know, do the outside games with them, but then also like seeing them be more spiritual and things like that. I love to see that. But I also just love the dinner dances when you get to, you know, like whenever they kind of let loose and are dancing on the dance floor, right. It kind of makes you kind of think to yourself like, wait, I can do whatever too, you know, like you don't have to worry about how you look or anything like that.
Exactly. Everyone's getting out on the dance floor.
Right. And that, that made me think to myself, like, even in situations where I'm not with, you know, like in one of those situations, I'm like, hey, nobody cares what you look like. Just do what you want to do. Yeah. It kind of gives you another outlook on life too.
Yeah. Yeah. You're such a good sport, especially with the outside games. Oh my God. They go after you so much.
I mean, I know, but that's okay. I get them back.
Well, I guess, is there anything that you would tell someone who was thinking about getting involved, especially if maybe they don't have the kind of training and experience that you have yet?
Right. I would probably say just kind of even start out small. I don't know, like if they're able to go like come for like a little bit of a retreat or come for a little bit of like a group meeting just to kind of see how it is. And I think that'll kind of get you hooked. Like I know there's this one girl who would just come to like our group meetings and now she's like more involved. So I think she kind of got hooked in that way. So just kind of starting off small, you know, taking it one step at a time. If you're not comfortable doing it, then by all means don't do it. But I think it's something that a lot of people would probably love to get into once they kind of started, you know, start out small and get started with it. So
one thing I've noticed too is that people tend to find areas that they find little niche areas. Like I've known people who came in straight away kind of as a catechist, and maybe that wasn't, they ended up realizing that's not really for me, but still wanted to be involved. So they ended up finding it, or there may be more logistical help, that sort of, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
There's always ways to be involved. Like I said, I just feel like everyone has just such a beautiful community.
Yeah. Or even like meeting, you might meet like one person that might change your whole outlook on life. You know what I mean? So just like something to think about. You might not want to do all the catechist thing right away, but you might meet somebody and you might be able to kind of be their buddy catechist or whatever. So
yep. I guess any other just final thoughts or just anything else you'd like to share?
Let's see.
This is you're thinking about your time doing all of this.
Yeah, I guess like the fact that it took me so long to kind of think about, like the fact that it has been 8 years and I don't feel like it's been 8 years is something that's kind of cool to think about, because it's like kind of obviously you get involved and you start doing it and start loving it, but then you like the time flies, so you don't even realize how long you've been there or how old you are. You just kind of community and you got to kind of work with them. And I know there's a lot of younger adults there too, but there's even older adults too, so like you can find somebody that you might relate to, you know, of all ages. So
yeah. Amen, so true.